I remember going to church every Sunday as a kid and attending Sunday school, which is church for little kids. And after every lesson, the teacher would ask a series of questions. And I remember 9 out of 10 times, if you just answer Jesus, your answer was more or less right. Today, when we look at our world, AI today is so prevalent. It is literally the answer to 9 out of 10 questions that we are facing. Who's going to make you more productive at work today? The first answer is AI. What's the hottest trend in tech today? AI. What's the biggest threat to the future of humanity? Is AGI. Anything you think of, who's doing my job so I can chill a bit, who wrote this podcast script, all AI. And who's going to take my job because I was chilling and watching Netflix is AI.
And who will give you therapy because you lost your job?
Is also completely AI. So we are doomed or we're enlightened, one of the two when it comes to AI. And a question I'd love for us to work with today and talk about today is AI just the latest fad, the latest trend, the latest hottest thing in town? Or is there a dot-com bubble that we see coming in our future where things are going to dramatically change?
It's interesting that you mentioned dot-com bubble because there's actually a TED talk by Jeff Bezos that he did about 20 years ago, 2003 to be precise. I think we'll leave a link of that and people should watch it because it's so telling of what we are heading towards. He gave this talk just coming out of this dot-com bubble, and during this bubble, Amazon was down by 90%. So many companies had gone bankrupt, and he had the foresight or the insight to really process all that. And he gives this really good metaphor where he compares the internet, the whole dot-com era, and all things that were happening around internet. He says how people were looking at it as gold rush. When you look at AI today, it does feel like that gold rush. Everybody is rushing towards it. The FOMO is high. Am I going to miss out if I don't invest? There's so much talk about how much Google is investing, how much Microsoft is investing, how much Apple is investing. So feels like everybody is just putting all their chips in because they don't want to miss that gold rush. And he compares that with California gold rush that happened around 1850s, where people were literally quitting their jobs as doctors and lawyers and were heading to California to mine for gold. But the sad thing about any gold rush in history is it comes to an end. He says when we're thinking about technology and internet, the lot of mentality was around that gold rush. But that's not a great metaphor for what the things that internet was going to do. The better metaphor was electricity.
In what way?
When electricity was invented, the first use case for electricity was light.
Yeah.
To bring light to your homes. There were no other appliances. But it didn't stop there. One, it wasn't just used for light bulb, to be more precise. After a few years came the electric fan. Then came the toaster. Then came the
All of
washing
our
machine.
appliances, yeah.
And when you think of it, it's not come to a stop. Even today, we are still thinking of things that you can use electricity for. There are more and more applications for it. Our lives revolve around everything that happens. Our modern economy is built on electricity. And he compares that. He says that is what is going to happen with internet. And we actually saw that play out for the last 20 years.
Yeah, very true.
So internet started with the basic emails and then search engine, then the websites.
And it's live today.
And today everything. You went from social media to e-commerce to fintech. Today, anything you think and do is around internet.
Yeah.
When you think about AI, you're start of that wave. And if you're able to see it as electricity and how it's going to permeate our lives and how it's going to converge with everything that's happening. You talk about autonomous mobility to humanoid robots to programmable biology, any aspect of life, it's going to take over. And there's so much coming our way.
Yeah.
But it's our attitude towards it. Are we going to see it as gold rush? Are we going to see it as electricity?
I love that. I was listening to Sundar Pichai did a talk last week, and he talks about how today AI is more accessible than ever, and especially since ChatGPT, life has changed so dramatically. Processing costs for AI have come down by 97%.
Absolutely.
That is something what you're saying just in the last year and a half, which is ridiculous when you think of that. It feels so natural. It feels so human. Yeah, my 8-year-old talks to an AI app, plays with it, has so much fun with it. It's more human sometimes than we are. And it's not just from a connection perspective. It's also speeding up our work, from developing vaccines to predicting where floods will be, all of that. It's doing so much of the work. Just sharpening that. A question is, how does AI, where do you see it playing out in the India context?
When you look at India, India is really a story of consumption. When you look at India today, 65% of population is only working age. And even if you look at the last decade, the biggest stories that played out are in the space of consumption. When you think about Swiggy or Ola or Zomato or even Amazon to Flipkart, these are all consumption stories.
They're great, big, successful stories.
Yeah. And that's exactly where you'll see AI also play out around consumption. So if I have to make a prediction, one thing that's waiting to happen is the shopping agents. Because when you think about shopping today, it's still very manual and inefficient. Think about, say, if I want to order an organic, chemical-free hair shampoo, though I realize the older I get, less shampoo I need, I would go to Amazon and do a very basic keyword search for that organic, chemical-free shampoo. But all sellers are trying to optimize their search ratings.
On the algorithm.
So you end up with this unlimited options, and most of them are not even genuine. Then I need to manually scan, read the description, look at the ingredients. Then I need to read the reviews to ensure if it's a good one or not. Then I need to compare the pricing, so that the whole process is very time consuming, and it's also very confusing. And that's where the opportunity lies today. How an AI powered shopping agent could totally change that. You just need to put out one query. So we are moving from one click to one query, or one click to zero click shopping now. AI will understand my preferences, it will filter out, it will compare the deals, it will look at the discounts, and it will even check out for me. So it's able to do all this, and it's able to do all that in a fraction of seconds.
I can see that definitely. We are a huge consumer base for any big company. For me, a trend I've seen, you have this sort of three Indias. You have the affluent India, which definitely will make a lot of money from AI in the next decade. You have your aspirational middle class, which will use it also. And a lot of times when it comes to technology, cutting edge, especially stuff that's out there, it's the bottom 30-40%, the marginalized India, the India which really gets left behind. They're the ones that don't ride the wave, or the last ones in.
Absolutely.
How do you see really marginalized India and AI making an impact or a difference or a use case for them?
I love that question, because we really need to deeply think about this. Because who leverages, who benefits from all this technology? Some statistics says that India created every 5 days 1 billionaire last year. So we really should think about how it will benefit the bottom 30, and how can we bridge that gap. And no matter which ism you belong to, in capitalism, secularism, or some other ism, one thing that everybody has consensus on and believe in is education is a solution. It is something that can build the bridges, bring opportunity to people, and can help eradicate poverty. So education is the space we really got to look at, but education in India is broken. If you look at some of the latest statistics, say that about 73% of the children aged between 14 to 18, either they're not part of schooling or they drop out even if they are by that age. And even if they stay in the schooling system,
They have learning lags.
heavy learning lags. You continue to see this every year. A fifth grade student cannot read a second grade textbook or can't do a simple division. And that is what you got. How do we fix that learning lags? There's a very interesting story called Two Sigma problem. It's done by a psychologist called Benjamin Bloom back in 80s. And he compares the traditional classroom where you have 30 students and one teacher with a tutoring model where you have 1:1 ratios. And it proves that 1:1, the student performance in that format is nearly 2 standard deviation, which is almost the double. And that's why he called it 2 sigma. But this model can't be scaled. You obviously cannot provide 1:1 ratio.
One teacher for one student.
That's why he called it a problem, 2 sigma problem. But when you take that and then now you think about AI tutoring agent, it's really feasible for you to bring an AI tutor to every child. That means every child can have the best tutor with all the knowledge and is able to understand your learning levels and can help you learn at your pace. And if you're able to bring that to a child, it's a game changer. And it can transform education at scale. In the famous words of Sal Khan, the 2 sigma problem can become a 2 sigma solution.
Absolutely. What he's done with Khanmigo is really powerful. It's a great use case. We need to figure out how to get that last mile delivery to students. We work with about 4,000, 5,000 students in 100 learning centers across India. And we have a volunteer human tutor going and teaching a child, which I still think is a big part of the future. I don't see humans being completely replaced. There is so much more. We can amplify the power of that human tutor with AI. They're able to teach more students. They're able to do more faster also because you've got an AI tutor. So many other companies also trying to build this. This year, we're also experimenting with it. It's our pilot. We're working with Amira Learning, which is really looking at the world's first reading tutor for children. So it listens to a child. It's able to, in real time, pause a child saying, hey, these are the words you're mispronouncing, or this is the way you should pronounce it, and works with a child in such a one-on-one personalized way, which nothing else can. And that is scalable. It's something that's been tested by Carnegie Mellon and multiple other universities in the US. You've got over 2 million kids across the world who've used it. And just 30 minutes a week with an AI tutor, kids grow 1.5 years worth of learning in 1 year.
Yeah.
Just 30 minutes a week. Just imagine that. And so we're able to get that to kids. And for us this year, we really want to pilot that with all the kids that U&I tutors. It's game changing.
Absolutely.
Because it's this group that really needs the power of AI. For the rest of India, it's a want.
Yep.
It's a good to have. It's great that, hey, I don't have to click 3 times to shop. But this group, it can change their life. And to me, the power of future where every child has a tutor is a powerful one.
Absolutely. Just going back, as we mentioned, we are at the start of the wave, and all of us should think about where AI is going to go and how we can leverage it. Salim Ismail said this: if you're prepared, this is going to be a point of transformation. If you're not, it's going to be a point of disruption. So it's coming your way, whether you're prepared or not.
Love it.